Hey folks, what a day. What a day for Springbok Rugby. First off, a shellacking in Wellington, an absolute shellacking at the former Suncorp Stadium. Now it's Sky Stadium, apparently, in Wellington, where the Springboks didn't beat, they didn't defeat, they beat down, they hammered the All Blacks. The largest ever loss in a test match for the All Blacks in their storied history. Their storied history. Unbelievable, folks. Unbelievable. They smacked them. Was it 46-10 or something like that is this final score? I forget now. I was so elated. Unbelievable. First half, disappointment by the Springboks. They should have punched it in. They should have punched it in. I disagree with the Georgian official, the knock-on. How could it be a knock-on if the ball goes straight to the ground? If the ball doesn't advance, how's it a knock-on? But it was TMO decided it was a knock-on. They disallowed RG Stateman's try. Whatever the case is, went into the locker room trailing 10-7. And in the first half, they came out with a purpose, but they didn't execute. The second half, they came out with a purpose, and they executed. 36 unanswered, well, yeah, so it's 43-10. 43-10, not 46-10. 36 unanswered points in the second half. They just shellacked. They embarrassed. They destroyed the All Blacks. This takes the pain of the debacle, the disappointment, the failure to execute last week, mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake, yet somehow they were within a try of winning that game in Eden Park to break that nearly century-long drought in Eden Park, the fortress. But Wellington has proven to be quite the profitable ground for the Springboks. Brilliant job by the Springboks. And amazing, kind of made my weekend. Whatever happened after that was great. Then in Exeter, I'm down here in Exeter for the Women's Rugby World Cup quarterfinal between the Black Ferns and the Springboks. And this was absolutely amazing. First half, the Springboks score at the end of the half to tie the game at 10-10 going in the locker room. You couldn't have painted a more Cinderella story. Now, we all knew that wouldn't continue. The Black Ferns are just too powerful, too fast, too experienced. But the Springboks kept themselves in the game with a powerful pack, those forwards were just pounding the line. And really, for the first 20 minutes of the game, New Zealand was almost not even in the game. Unfortunately, the Lady Boks turned the ball over on the 5-meter line a couple of times. That's a shame. But in the second half, the All Blacks, the Black Ferns came out with a purpose. And they scored a whole bunch of points in just 20 minutes and just turned the game around completely. But the Lady Boks never gave up. And they scored a try late, but it was called a knock-on. And then they scored another try, about, I think, 73rd minute, something like that, with a decent score to finish with 17 points. This team, I have to tell you, folks, 5 years ago when I told people about the Springboks having a women's team, people laughed at me in South Africa. Honestly, they did. They said, what are you talking about? We don't have a women's rugby team. There's no women's rugby in South Africa. I said, yes, there is. You have a team. You do have a team. They've been in the World Cup before. No, they haven't. Yes, they have. I don't think anybody in South Africa now is unaware that South Africa has a women's team. And they went to the quarterfinals in this year's Rugby World Cup. They beat Italy for the first time. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. And they beat debutantes Brazil. And they held their own for a half against the Black Ferns, arguably the second best team in the world, maybe the best team, the defending Rugby World Cup champions. It was amazing. So the second half, not so exciting as the first half, but nonetheless, the Lady Boks really put on a great performance. And after what the men did to the All Blacks this morning, oh my goodness, what a weekend for Springbok Rugby. You know, it's not often that you're thrilled about a loss. I'm not thrilled about the loss, but you can't take the smile, the coat hanger in my mouth, off of the victory that the Boks had in Wellington. And that first half was just unbelievable. I mean, I could have left the end of the first half and been satisfied. I never expected the Lady Springboks to be that close at the end of the first half. Anyway, folks, I did call a 26-point victory for the Black Ferns on Super Brew, and guess what I got? Exactly right, the score. I got the score exactly right, 26 points. Anyway, folks, that's going to do it here from Exeter. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate your time as folks come in here and chat into my videos, so I'm going to drop off. Cheers.